Welcome to the evolution of esports, where you don't just play the game, you code it. The CodeCombat AI League is the first of its kind. Part AI battle simulator, part game engine for learning real Python and JavaScript. Refine and perfect your code in your quest to become a CodeCombat AI League champion. Competitive coding has never been so epic. Join now.
Hey guys, we are back and incredibly excited to recap Season 4 of the AI League powered by HyperX. We never do this recap alone. We've got our incredible crew here. We've got Nick, CodeCombat CEO.
What's up, Brian?
Valentine. Hey, what's going on, Nick? Thank you so much for being here. Valentine, our AI League arena architect. What's going on, Valentine? And Charlotte, who leads curriculum development at CodeCombat. Charlotte, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great. Let's do this.
Awesome. So exciting. So as we do, we'll not only be hearing from this team, but we'll be hearing firsthand from some of the winners themselves. They've submitted some videos that allow us to get an insight into what their thoughts and strategies were going into these matches. The Frost of War season, which is Season 4 of AI League, had our players experimenting with gravitational anomalies and fending off a massive horde of baddies in both the regular season Iron and Ice Arena as well as the Tundra Tower Cup Finals. So to get into the action, we're going to jump in with Nick, Valentine, and Charlotte right now. Hey Nick, take it over.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, this is the 1 year anniversary of the CodeCombat AI League coding esports thing that we've been doing here, and it's really crazy to see the growth. This year we had 40,000 players on the Iron and Ice practice arena and almost 9,000 on the harder Tundra Tower Cup championship arena. And it was some crazy code. I'm excited to dig into it. The other thing that we've got this year in 2022 is that HyperX is the long-term presenting sponsor of the AI League, which secures a bright future for this as the competitive coding esport. So let's jump in and talk about what this arena is like.
Valentine, Charlotte, help us understand, going into Season 4, what were some of the themes, what were some of the objectives and strategies? How did you want to challenge the competitors? And what did you intend to kind of see come out of that, and what may have surprised you?
Let's maybe me start. So from design point, I think one of the points what we wanted to achieve it's to make a tower defense game. So a year ago, our first arena, Blazing Battle, was our first attempt to build exactly tower defense game. And maybe it was not so exciting, and we saw sometime like we need to make better, more interesting, so like as any tower defense game. So one of the point about game design for this arena, we wanted to having a lot of monsters. Like we wanted to, because usually they're like 10, 20, 30. Here we wanted to have like 100 on the same screen. Like, so that was our main idea. And yeah, so but just like tower defense wasn't enough, and then we got idea about anomalies and how we can change game. So this way, I think from the game standpoint, we got interesting and original game. So it's like tower defense, but with gravity anomalies and teleport.
Yeah.
So really,
I agree, Valentin. The anomalies was really fascinating about how people used it. And just like a quick explanation, anomalies allowed you to pool some of those waves of minions towards specific towers or push them away. But I thought it was interesting that you designed it so that people could pull and push on the other person's side of the arena. So I think you noticed that too, right? Some of them were actually using that to an advantage.
Also, you can build on another side of arena. So it's not like obvious decision like build on your side. And there we added like a small trick. So like, why not allow them to build everywhere? So in this case, you can build on your opponent side and maybe get additional mana for monsters, or just like occupy some tiles.
And I gotta say, I did get pulled into this one, and I spent maybe too much time playing it. And part of my strategy was to build useless, terrible arrow towers on the other sides. So I'm in blue here, playing against, I think Stepan is a 10-year-old, something like this. And so I tried to take up his valuable towers spots with my level 1 towers that didn't do anything. And I wrote maybe 200 lines of code to do this, and I thought I was so clever. And I don't know. I don't think it was quite an. Oh, I might have get him. Okay, I just barely edged him out on this one, but it took some doing. We have players getting into this arena, and they're writing hundreds of lines of codes to do this, deciding when to use the various specials. Some very, very close matches up ahead. So that was the practice arena in Iron and Ice. Let's take a look at some of the winners for the Tundra Tower Championship Arena, which made it more complicated, tougher monsters, fewer tower spots you gotta really make count, and a very important strategic gameplay addition. Valentine, what did you add for us in the championship mode of this one in Tundra Tower?
We don't just edit, we even cut some small features. So for example, in Tundra Towers, you have less towers. We had to cut features about building on the other side, so you can see there are less tiles to building. We did it on purpose because for Iron and Ice it was already sometimes hard to understand what's happening there. And as we wanted to add the main feature, Tundra Towers, it's guards. You see this armored Yetis. It's we had our Yetis as a monster in CodeCombat for a long time ago, and now we decided to use them. Let's give them some armor. Yeah, so you can see the last armor design.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, under mask there is a Yeti. You don't see it, but you can guess. So that was the reason why we decided okay, need more space so you can see these guards in action. So it's the main rule. And another point, we had to reduce number of monsters. We made them stronger. There is one key difference. In Iron Ice, you can't find all monsters see their position in your code, so you can only guess. You think it's your strategy in general. In Tundra Towers, you control everything. You know where is each monster, so you can place your anomalies much better. Control, send your guards everywhere.
Right, and I love how you added the ability to almost kite with the guards using those anomalies. So you'll see in the upcoming games where people again are using kiting and their guards to bring enemies to the opposing side. I thought that was fascinating. Along with that teleportation anomaly, which we can dive into more, where you're moving, you can actually move people, right?
Yeah, let's see if we can catch one in action. So there's one. So over here, we've got these shamans lined up, right? They're about to, or maybe these are the warlocks. These ones are about to, hit the Sharky Combat's red crystal base, right? And so Sharky Combat has written some code to use his anomalies, basically saying, well, if there is, he's got this counter mode, it looks like. After time 10, he can counter and cast a teleport spell wherever his enemy has cast a teleport spell to push them back. But in some cases, he's not using the counter and he's just teleporting directly. So he's got these two shamans here, cast the anomaly, and then the next frame, they're over there. So it's a lot. One of the feedback we got on this level is there's a lot going on, so it's kind of hard to see what is happening, but all of a sudden we can see these shamans have teleported towards the enemy base, they let off their fireballs, scored the hits on the blue side.
And there's another teleport you see later.
Yeah.
There is a trick point about using your teleport. So obvious you think to use it to counteract, your opponent using teleport, you waiting and use teleport back. However, if you both players use the same tactic, you never use your teleport because you're always waiting while your opponent. So on some point, you need to check, okay, what is my opponent doing? If my opponent doing teleports really well, so I should use it counter. On the another, if there are no such strategy, use your teleport as just send enemies and hope they don't contract you. So
Agreed. And as an educator, I love this because it's incentivizing you to develop more advanced code in order to time your anomalies better. Because you need to check the other side's code, basically what the other side is doing to time your anomalies, time your kiting, so it's more effective and you're not wasting mana over here and over there.
So this, all in all, this was a very complicated and very fun arena. We have players deciding to change what tower they're building depending on the composition of the wave. So you see Sharky's turning these arrow towers into mage towers when more flying units appear, because mage towers are do more damage to those flying units. We've got some players that start all arrows, but then they start to add cannons towards the end to do AoE to the ogres. Very, very advanced gameplay. And in this matchup is actually the top 2 players in the 0 to 11 age bracket. So Sharky Combat in red, and just some really cursed code. I did not curse this code. Sometimes the players get really into the lore of the game, but the curse was good apparently, because Sharky Combat has taken the top spot in the 0 to 11 age bracket against player number 2 here, Code CS66. And here we can see the full leaderboards. We've also got Yuli Bearski in 3rd place. Congratulations to our top 3 and all of our 0 to 11 age bracket players.
My basic strategy is to have frost at the FNG spots when the throwers spawn, because throwers are fast, so when they spawn I just build up frost on the FNG spots to stop them from coming quickly, and then teleport them to the enemy base. I usually come up with all archers on all of the spots and first, and I will switch to cannon and then build cannons, because cannons can attack a larger spot, like a larger space. So that is my basic strategy for winning.
Okay, so I've got the match loaded up here. It's a match between Hello243 and Buddy CC. I've seen both those names before.
Oh yeah. These
Here
guys
we
are
go.
regulars. They're regulars. They're here all the time.
I actually haven't
Always
watched
ranking
this
high.
one yet. Let's see.
Looks like they're using a similar strategy in the beginning with those archer towers right in the middle.
and the same using of anomalies. So when someone using push, they contracted with pull on the same position. So you can see there is like purple and blue circles in the same position. So it's definitely, I doubt the same player using pull and push on the same position. It would be weak. So it's definitely counteracting.
Well, it's interesting then Buddy starts adding those mage towers on the right, even though I don't see that many flying monsters, I guess. Oh, there they are.
Maybe he was getting ahead of it.
Yeah.
So you can actually access what the waves are going to be in advance if you want to start building those towers for the future waves. I wonder if Buddy has some code to do that.
One of the key features, so you don't have to totally rebuild your tower. So like when you change the type of the tower, like you don't lose the tower level. So in many games, it's usually like you can't easily change it. In our game, you can change it at any moment. Of course, it costs you mana, but it's not resulting like you just upgrade the level and change the type. Why not? If you have enough mana, you can change towers really quickly in one moment.
And I'm noticing the waves are getting larger and fiercer. Oh my goodness, I don't know who's going to last.
I mean, it's pretty hard to survive past a minute 30 as some of these bigger ogres start to come out. I was just taking a quick look at this code here, and we are seeing that countering stuff, right? So we say, hey, for the anomaly in the anomalies, if we've got the pull and the other anomaly is that push anomaly, and we then are going to do a pull just to the side of it. So 2x units off. And same thing for the push, right? So that's why you're seeing that push and pull countering. It's Buddy is just doing it slightly offset. And so that if the enemy's trying to pull stuff towards him or away from the base, he's going to push it. Let's see what Hello243's got going on. This is a little bit more organized looking at.
Yeah, and more complicated code for guards. I'm not sure if we thought using the full power of guards, So most of the users just playing Tundra Towers the same as we're playing Iron and Ice. So, and we're using guards just as mobile towers. However, guards can be used much interesting way. So as Charlotte mentioned, we have huge kiting ability, because their ability is mostly focusing about like to take,
and look at that, you can see the kiting
well, they're
right
going
there
for
with
it.
Hello
So
243.
see these two red ones, and he's got some code in here. If the guard is on the top, just fight, but if it's on the bottom, then kite. However, I think one of these must have wandered south a little bit, because now both of them end up going and trying to kite all the way over, but nobody's following them because I think they didn't use their roar. And so I ended up writing quite a lot of code to try to get kiting working in this, and it ended up going good, but it's definitely an advanced tactic.
Well, I did see Hello 243 successfully just kite a flying minion over there.
It looks like something worked because it was not that close a contest. Hello 243 was 7,105 health left at the end. And let's take a look at the winners. Hello 243, number one, only 4 losses, including to all those older players. Buddy CC again with 9, Red Dragon 9, another a familiar face, Peter Palov. I'm seeing a lot of these players are on the forums all the time, talking strategy, digging into the code, trying to pull off those advanced moves, and it shows from this forum, this leaderboard performance. Congrats to all of our top players on the 11 to 14 age bracket.
I competed in CodeCombat AI League because I thought it'd be a good way to test my coding skills. My strategy for winning was to use Roar to bring as many monsters to the other side while still protecting my own.
So what are we looking at here? Are we moving on to the open bracket?
Yes, just as before, the actual most competitive part is in the 14 to 18-year-old bracket where Shininglice lurks. So we're going to do that last. Here is the open bracket. You've got your adults in here, or people who never set their age on the registration form. And we got some wild battles in here, and let's play this one. In this match, we see Not Forgan is all arrow towers, and then we've got a mix of everything but mage towers here from Ethan Chun too.
I'm interested in why they used frost towers and cannons so early here. Maybe to slow down the wave a little bit at the beginning and get a head start.
Well, I always like to use those frost towers in the front, but here you need 2 of them to slow down most of the guys, so it seems like a waste of towers, and they're also being upgraded. I don't know about that strategy. I don't know about the chances for Ethan Chen 2 in here with the upgrade in the frost towers. Although
I'm curious too, because there's no mage tower, and you had like that wave of flying monsters with no defense at all.
They're not taking that much damage yet. Most of the damage comes later, so let's see. But Not Forgan is still pulling ahead. You know, I had one of the top players messaging me because, you know, they were trying to figure out some bug, and then they complained that someone had built basically just one level 35 frost tower. That's it. And he lost to it. He was like one of the top 3 players because they slow the mobs down so much, and he would just teleport it over to them. Eventually he was able to counter the strategy, but I think Gandhi did a pretty good job on the balance here because all the tower types do come in playing a role.
Yeah, I think having one big tower is not effective. It's easily to counteract.
Ethan's going down. There
it is.
Yep.
Nice.
And so look at just how many mobs are.
Well, that's interesting because Not For Again switched to majority of cannons at the end, and I maybe that's what pulled him into the lead.
But not for game changes. So he started with look, if you scroll at the beginning, there was arrow towers, and the end there are mage towers, cannons. So he totally changed their layout. So
and we see, you know, some of these arenas you don't necessarily need to know a ton of advanced coding. So Ethan Chun 2 coming in here, and we don't have a whole lot of complicated code, right? So this is about as far as you can go if you just have really good tower building strategy that doesn't need to react to what's going on. So I know Ethan Chen probably spent a lot of time just optimizing which towers to build and what to do with the various specials. Whereas we have so much more reactive code here on Not Forget's part, and those counters really kind of and adaptive strategies really kind of set the tone. So let's take a quick look at the open bracket age winners, which is here. Congrats again to Not For Again, taking the #1 spot, only 7 losses. Ethan Chun 2 with 18, and Matrizas from Team HyperX in #3. We also have Grubby Cup in HyperX team from #4, just 1 loss behind Matrizas. Great job playing for our sponsors. Team Ned coming in here from the previous season.
Nice.
The custom Ned Fulmer hero from the Try Guys.
What up, Ned?
Player was just posting on the forum a strategy guide. Team Ned's complimentary hero, Ned Fulmer, is actually one of the best free warrior heroes because he's got the Spatula of Love.
I competed because I wanted a fun project that could test my skills, especially one that works with my competitive nature. I think it's very interesting how it's different because unlike other esports, it doesn't test once that it can change. It's very consistent. Once you submit it, it's very predictable. My strategy for winning was to just delay as long as possible and hope the other person lost first.
Let's move it on to the climactic final matchup between our top 2 players. I'm about to load this up, and I think you know the name of one of them. The undefeated 3-time champion Shininglice in blue versus
He is back.
versus player Venneth in red. I'm excited to see this matchup.
Here we go.
Oh, is it going to be a repeat Shininglice? Let's see.
Are we seeing different tower placements off the bat, different upgrade strategies? I have read through these codes, so I can see function names like balanced upgrade, and we are starting all arrow towers on both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shininglice seems to be jumping ahead, just really filling in his battlefield with towers there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
his
And
Yetis
Venneth
are
is
staying
grind
together
cycle.
and Venice are staying apart. Interesting. I have 631 lines of code on Shininglice's part, and let's see how much Venneth has written here. Oh my gosh, it keeps going. 1239.
So it's more code than like the logic of this arena, yeah?
Well, how many lines of code to implement this arena, Valentine?
If we're talking about whole logic, if like all components, of course it will be like thousands of lines. But if like we're talking about like just like this layer of arena, I think it's about like 1,000 line of code, something like that in some.
So I just caught a wild kiting a moment. So the Yeti roars. These 2 big enemies come in and they're chasing it. Yeti's got haste up and runs all the way to the other side of the map, right? These ones now, we're about to hit that tower. They're coming in. Let's see if they actually do any damage. That one is still up. Yep, she starts wailing on this other Yeti, but this Yeti roared it. They're all fighting to take it back. And they're kiting each to the other side.
Yeah,
So it's,
kiting is more effective in the late game.
This
So,
one
like,
has
on the
3 of
early
them
game
chasing.
you can see we're just fighting around, but like on the late game it's more effective to use guards exactly for kiting.
yeah, look at the size of this
I also
string.
noticed. Oh my goodness, and that is a full kite too. And I'm also noticing the anomalies seem to be better timed here, where they're back and forth almost.
Wow, look at how many are piled up on Shininglice. Shininglice is taking a bunch of damage. And if you
Oh,
look at it, you
no.
can see how many of them came from this train right here. And it looks like Venneth isn't taking them straight on, because then they would get caught up in some sort of counter anomaly. He's luring them down, and then they're coming in at an angle. I think Shininglice's counters are used up. The blue Yeti's rushing in to do something. I don't think they have their abilities. A big burst saves some time, right there. But then they crush in. Yeah,
There
another burst.
is a trick in Tundra Towers which we didn't mention. Like as you can see behind bases, there are like some blue fire. So if monsters get in this fire, they die immediately. So there is one trick about that. If you can get monster close to your base and then use a burst, then they thrown to this fire and
Look at that.
die immediately.
That is
Yeah,
a great
but
counter.
It's a risky strategy because like to get this you need to get monsters really close to your base. So and so you need so perfect timing about that. So not so many players discussed this strategy on discourse about like, oh, it's exploit, and then like it's hard to use. Like, and often like if you just like one frame later using, monsters can hit your base and destroy it. Like, so too risky.
Yeah, I feel like that type of timing is just really hard to anticipate with your code, because you can't really anticipate every single type of move that the rival's going to do, right? For example, Venneth's kiting strategy right here.
Well, it looks like Shininglice has really good train coming on, and then Venneth steals it. Now he's got 5 on the top here. So I think that might be kind of decisive. Now we see on the tower strategy, there's all arrows for Venneth. Let's see how much code has been written to
I think Shininglice does not check if his train like is like stolen. So Yeti continue to running to the corner instead. Like, hey, I don't have monster behind me anymore. Like, should I do something else? We're just like running.
Yeah, and that's such a key strategy too, because if you're not checking, you might be just wasting a lot of your guard time walking to the other side with nothing behind you, right? So it's so key to make sure you're checking that you're actually aggroing the minions that you need.
Yeah, so you need to counteract of counteracting. So counteracting.
Right. Very meta.
Venneth here has a bunch of code to look at all the different monsters, compare their stats, decide how dangerous they are in each position, decide which anomalies to use based on where they are. You know, when I ran this match, I had to increase the timeout because of how much code both players wrote. It was just cranking. And so, and now I could see why. Wow, look at all of this logic here we've got.
Yeah, I'm just really impressed by how sophisticated this code is.
That's why we didn't allow to find monster positions in Iron Rise, because there are more monsters like that. We could just
even figuring out how fast the other guards and velocity is going. Like, yeah, so Venneth is clearly reacting to what the other enemy guards are doing. Meanwhile, on the other side, Shininglice has his traditional vector-based style. So instead of just hard coding positions, and it's more like springs and forces, right? So you would kind of add to the influence of whichever way that you want to go until those vectors add up to a path. Very advanced thing. Well, I think it's about time to let this one play out. I'm gonna turn the sound on here. Actually, I don't have the sound on, but a moment of...
Are we gonna have a full-time champion?
I don't know.
Venneth is ahead on hit points.
One.
That big train we pointed out earlier got stolen, is closing in on Shininglice. Oh, Venneth is not taking any damage. Shininglice is going down.
How is that possible?
It's just kiting everything out of the way. Oh, there's so many of them.
I know. That's incredible. Wow.
And Shininglice Yetis.
Oh, that's it.
Oh.
I think they got sad at the very end. They're just standing there saying, "Oh no." That or their code broke.
That's why you need to check if someone steals your kiting.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah. That's the lesson learned here. I cannot believe Shininglice has been dethroned. That is...
Well, you know, when you've got a target on your back that big, everybody's optimizing their code against you. Let's check the leaderboards here. And here it is. Here is the 14 to 18-year-old age bracket. Venneth in first place for Team HyperX with 0 losses, and Shininglice with just that one that we just watched. What a close match. Awesome guy and awesome congrats on your 3rd place finish with the 14 to 18 age bracket as well. And of course, many friendly faces on the leaderboards that we've been competing against. Dima P, Drew Nicolo, 4 big dudes, Hydrabolic, Learn. What amazing players. Fierce competitors in the 14 to 18-year-old age bracket.
I compete in the CodeCombat AI League to improve my coding skills, especially in Python and logical thinking. And I also want to see where I stand among other coders, and I can learn from them. And also to interact with the CodeCombat community. AI League is different from other esports since, from what I can see so far, it is really the first of its kind. And the system in CodeCombat for writing and testing code is really fluid, and it's really accessible, so everyone, really everyone, can participate. My current strategy for the Tundra Tower Cup is mainly to defend using guards for the early rounds, and then fully switch to redirecting the enemies on my area to my opponent's area, using varying means, such as using burst on new waves, luring the enemies using my guards, and even pushing the enemies using my guards.
Ain't accepting ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did.
So congratulations to Venneth, our brand new AI League champion. Exciting to see that match come together. Shininglice, valiant effort. It was exciting to see that come down to the finish. And with HyperX joining us right before the Tundra Tower Cup Finals, they've expanded their partnership with CodeCombat AI League. This new partnership brings a commitment of great prizing and support for 4 more incredible seasons through April 2023. So the overall winner of the CodeCombat AI League season final, which in this case, in this season, is Venneth. Congratulations again. He will receive a $1,000 scholarship to help him pursue his coding education and support him on his path to a career in computer science. And the top 3 players in each division will win HyperX products. So first place in each age group will get a pack that includes the Cloud Revolver 7.1 headset, the Allo Origins keyboard, and the Pulsefire FPS Pro mouse. Second place will receive a Cloud 2 headset and Cloud earbuds. And third place will receive the Cloud Stinger headset. If you didn't win, no worries. HyperX has you covered. All the AI League players get 20% off MSRP from HyperX.com. Just use the code HXCodeCombat at checkout. Regional and product limitations do apply. So now let's take a look at Season 5, where coding turns into a basket brawl with the Desert Duel Arena.
Let me load up the level here. Valentine, what were you thinking when designing this one?
Okay, so for this arena, we decided to get out from the some fighting mechanics and decided to make a game. So we chose basketball game, magic basketball game, where each player has a ball, so don't need to fight for that. Just get your players close to the opponent basket and you get a shot. So the game is in developing stage. You can see current preview. So there would be more abilities, more players, more different types. So the rules are simple. As for each warm-up arena, you don't need to know a lot about coding. Just jump in and start playing.
Yeah, so you're kind of like a basketball coach in this one, right? Playing your players in your plays.
Yeah, and it's easier to see who's winning in progress. You can see the score, basically how many balls you got through through your barrel, I guess.
Oh, if I make a 3-point shot, I get 3 points. Yes, take that.
That's right. There's a 3-point play.
Let's make only 3-pointers. This is gonna be great. I'm definitely gonna win.
And I challenge everyone to put a team name in the comment section, as long as it's super appropriate.
I don't think I'm gonna.
But you're limited how many players at the same time you can have on the field. So using the one type of players, it's not effective. So yeah. You're losing.
Oh no, I'm definitely gonna win.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, Uliberski was one of the top 0 to 11 players, so I don't think I'm gonna beat him in 2 lines of code here. But you might Go ahead and check it out, Desert Duel. We'll see you on the leaderboards.
I'm really excited. I can't wait to try it out myself. I want to say a huge thank you to the entire CodeCombat community, all our players this season. It was a fantastic season. Thank you to our experts here with us today to break everything down. And thank you to HyperX for all the support over the last few seasons and moving into the future. So excited to have you be a part of this. Get on the boards, get on the leaderboards, start playing at codecombat.com/league. Hope to see you there. Thanks, guys.
Welcome to the evolution of esports, where you don't just play the game, you code it. The CodeCombat AI League is the first of its kind. Part AI battle simulator, part game engine for learning real Python and JavaScript. Refine and perfect your code in your quest to become a CodeCombat AI League champion. Competitive coding has never been so epic. Join now.